TCS cuts 12,000 jobs and lays off 2% of its workforce. There are tons of layoffs happening in the tech circuit. Is everyone around you panicking and thinking that AI is going to come for your job? And it's always the same advice. You need to leverage AI, be a better leader, collaborate more. Trust me, isn't that getting a bit too exhausting? As an introvert, far from being the loud person in a room, you would rather merge in with the wallpaper. So for you, understanding how to cope with AI must be very difficult. And trust me, you do not need a personality transplant. And this is not an apocalypse of any sorts. In fact, there are certain factors that AI cannot do. The future will see us working in tandem, in collaboration with AI to make execution faster or to automate execution. But there's one thing that is always going to be our stronghold, which is thinking, strategy, and how we accept the change forward, adaptability. Human species are probably the most powerful and the most intelligent species that have survived for more than 2000 odd years. So I do not think AI is going to just wipe you out. Of course, even cited by Goldman Sachs or Resume Builder, that there are thousands and millions of jobs that are going to get impacted, most notably the customer service segment. But there are thousands and millions of other jobs that will come to the fore. So how do you go about, making your future proof? What are those 6 skill sets that you need to work on to make sure you future proof your career and stand out at work, be it business or job, whatever, especially as an introvert? Let's check that out today. Number 1, first up, strategic communication. This doesn't mean you need to be the most charismatic person in the room. It means you listen the most. You have clarity regarding what you are speaking. Now, AI can draft that mail, schedule your social media post, but when it comes to empathy, when it comes to listening, it can simulate that empathy when trained, but it cannot replicate it in real life, right? Think about a project manager who has to communicate to the clients of a problem or communicate to them their unspoken fears. And AI would just do the most polite way to get some words, mash them up, and send it to the client. It won't make that impact. Think about the times you have, if you have a transaction with PayPal and the transaction has not come through for some reason. I'm talking about my experiences. What happens when I'm talking with my financial vendor for my clients who process the payments, it gets stuck for some reason. I would 10 out of 10 times prefer to talk to a human over there rather than get regurgitated replies from AI. Think about layoffs. The HR, the human aspect of how we communicate makes a lot of difference. As an introvert, this is something that comes natural to you, listening. So practice active listening. Listen more. And the execution part, leave that to AI, because that's slowly going to get outsourced to AI. But never outsource your critical thinking. The way you strategize, the way you make a plan, that stays with you. Remember, AI was made by humans. Okay? And AI can do your grunt work, but when it comes to making a plan or understanding nuances of human behavior or to communicate something which is difficult to process at a time, you need a human. And AI can manage your contacts in a database or even draft the emails for you using Gemini, and you could make an automation with instantly and whatever. But the real connections happen due to human networking. The real connections happen due to human networking. Now, coming for an introvert, this must be like crazy. You wouldn't want to do that. But studies show, in fact, that 99% of business deals, the big ones, the final handshake is done by a human even today. And AI won't be able to replicate that. Even a salesperson who is making a sale, for instance, you must be getting a lot of AI calls trying to sell you something. Trust me, whenever I listen to an AI sales call, I just listen to that AI first and I cut it. There is no connection. There is no human connect. Even when I do my business in the content marketing segment, trust me, networking is very important. By networking, I don't mean always putting yourselves through crowds or chaotic situations. Grow bit by bit. Talk to one person. Research about them before meeting. Go to a coffee maybe and research about from their LinkedIn profile. Prepare some notes and then go ahead and build your network. You don't need to, throng yourself into a sea of people and try to take it from there. No, but networking is very important and it is going to get more and more important as AI takes over. What is right now, the work that will happen will get executed faster and faster with AI, and that will give a sense of boredom and sort of sameness in the work and interactions across. That's when human networking will become more and more powerful and potent. So work on those networking skills, talk to people. Remember for a fact, for every 5 people you're going to talk to, you're not going to like 3 to 4 of them. And that's normal. That's how networking happens. You never know what conversation opens the door for you in a job or a business. So work on that networking. Bit slowly, but you must. Third on the list is adaptability and continuous learning. And this one is a tough for AI because while it performs good on old data, it kind of chokes in brand new situations. And if you see the history of human civilization from the pandemics to the recession, the human adaptability is something that's really, really steely. And when those situations come, and the world will bank on the adaptability and that, survival instincts of humans to lead the way. Now, and that will be the same in workplace. For an introvert, you need to work on making yourself better by focusing on deep action. Reserve 90 minutes in a day. Play with a model. It can be ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, or any model, or anything that catches your eye. You do not need to be an expert in it. In fact, if you search across all of the social media channels, you'll get overwhelmed with information that so much is being fed at you. You think, I don't know anything. Trust me, take it slow. No one has it all figured out at this point. What you need to do is grow bit by bit. Focus on learning one skill set. Take this example, like the writers, if you talk with anyone who is a freelance writer or a freelance designer, at this point, they are all pivoting into something like strategy. They are talking to subject matter experts to bring more insights into the table. Why are they doing that? Because this is something AI can't fill at this moment. Unless executed to the fullest, it cannot talk to some expert about a product or an industry insight and take that data and add it contextually in a blog or a piece or a case study. This is something AI cannot do it, and that's where the writers are pivoting to. This is just one example. Same for a designer, same for someone who is in tech, for example. Start focusing on deep action. 90 minutes a day, 1 hour or 2 hours, whatever you want. Keep that for yourself. Focus on learning something new every day. It can be anything. You don't even need to buy the $20 subscription of ChatGPT at the beginning. Like, get to the point where you feel comfortable using those tools. Once that situation is reached, then go ahead and buy that subscription. Have an idea in play. how to do a use case phenomena, how to do a case study, how do I do a deep research, which model is good for writing, which model is good for research. There's no textbook out there at this moment which can guide you. The next one is analytical and problem solving skills. This one is really important because, take for example, if you feed AI with a ton of data of medical records of patients and all, it can flag an anomaly, right? But what is that anomaly? For that, you need a human to interpret it. There was a study in 2024 which said that 90% of employers would prefer problem-solving skill sets over technical ones. So there was a PwC survey which actually said that 90% of them, there was a job assigned to a group of people, and 90% of them thought that they performed a great job and the customers loved it. But when they interviewed the customers, they found that only 30% were happy with it. Now that gap you see cannot be fulfilled with AI. That humans need to be there. At the end, the anomaly or whatever is flagged needs to be processed by a doctor who needs to check the reports of the patients, keeping in mind context of the past, his or her records, and then communicate the same to their family with empathy. There's the need of critical thinking, analytical thinking, and this is the most important skill set you can acquire right now, because focus on being the brain when everyone is busy being the arms for a job. In fact, when I hire, I always look beyond the skill sets at how the person is speaking, how the person is presenting itself, because that gives you an essence of how that person will tackle a problem. It is not everything. Do not take for granted what AI is giving to you. Ask 5 times why. Why? Because they're of a new competitor. Why? Because their marketing campaign is good. Why? Because they're targeting a more specific geography or whatever. Go on asking questions. The whys, the hows, the whats, keep them alive. That analytical, rational and questioning is going to set you apart, because the need for content strategy has gone up, because the rudimentary parts can be like distribution and all can be done with AI. But if somebody does not weave the plan together, no matter how good the execution is, the house will fall. The 5th skill is digital literacy. Those people who will not fight AI and try to learn it will find themselves in a better spot than others. Plain and simple. I can talk about marketing and tech, and I would rather hire somebody who has experimented with AI, has an open mind to play with AI, rather than have strict polarized mindsets. Meaning, I don't like AI, I don't want to use AI, AI is bad. If you have that mindset, you will be replaced. It's one thing to have an opinion. It is completely a different ballgame and to assess the situation. And the situation is, there is no way around AI. Develop the mindset that you need to learn. And an intelligence portion that you need to bring to the table. And the more you do it, the more you get into it, and the pace of each person will be different, but it starts with a decision over. It is just way too fast and it will overwhelm you. Let others function at their pace, you function at your pace. This is very important, because if you keep trying to function as a race, see it as a race, trust me, you will have a lot of anxiety issues, and that will eat away into your daily life. And the 6th one is develop a personal brand. I know for an introvert it's very difficult, but sometimes we associate quality with a personal brand. Like if we think of like shoes, it has to be Nike or Adidas or something like that. Does it mean all of these shoes are being manufactured in like in Indonesia or Vietnam or Bangladesh for that matter. So, but it is being same for iPhones. It's manufactured in China and all of those places and Vietnam, but people pay a premium price for that because of the brand. Post about how you're feeling, post about your experiences online. You can start something on Medium, maybe Substack, or even on LinkedIn. Again, you do not need to stand. The more you go to any social media, you will get overwhelmed. I would say do not try to stand out in comparison to someone. Just focus on giving your ideas and showing up. That showing up consistency really matters. So learn AI. It's going to make your life better. Do not see it as a kind of an enemy, but make it into your weapon. And that is what gonna make you, much ahead of others when you're going for a job, or make you stand out. And feel free to tell me more about if any experiences you have had during layoffs. I know it's a very tense time right now, but we all need to be strong and be kind and empathetic, and I'm sure we can get through this.